Americans, black people, Mexican people, white people, women, men, all of that, stop falling for the okey-doke and learn to use what God has given you, and that is boundless brain power, the ability to think, the ability to see what's righteous and what's unrighteous. Use what you have and stop allowing other people to use you. If you're a black person, white person, Mexican, Asian, any of those, whatever, Muslim, I want to talk to you today. And I want to talk to you about victimhood. In the past week or so, actually longer than that, I'm hearing a lot of things that people are saying, and they're incorrect. I heard the lady AOC, and she was talking, and she made a couple of statements, and she made incorrect statements about black people in America and how everything worked against us. I'm an octogenarian, which means that I'm between 80 and 90 years old. A lot older than her and a lot older than a number of you that are speaking out today. I went through what they call prejudice. I went through separation. I went through a number of these things. And my parents didn't have me until they were older. I think my mother was about 40 something when she had her first child. And my father died when I was a very young girl. I'm telling you this story because I think it's important to get truth out there. I heard a young man talk about something, and he was talking about his family. His mother was 70 years old and what she had to go through, the different things, all right? I have children that are in their 60s. But one thing I want to let you know, my father told me as a little girl, he says, Bobby, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. So since nobody owes you anything, nobody owns you. Now, my father's parents, from what I understand, were slaves. And he was from Mississippi, Greenville, Mississippi. I went there once, and I was able to stay in places that my father could not have stayed. But one thing that my father was not, he was not a victim. My father worked. My father, while he was alive, provided a very good living, a very good life for his family, as best as he could. My mother only had about a third, maybe fourth, fifth grade education. I don't know, somewhere in there. But she asked God to teach her to read the Bible. She could read the Bible, and she was great at numbers and stuff. He died. She cleaned house. She wasn't the wellest person in the world, but she did very good to her children and for her children. She did get some aid from welfare, which was great, but then she worked, and she let it be known that she did not want to just stay there. She raised us. She asked God to help her to raise her children from under the footstools of others. That to me was a powerful thing. She never wanted her children to be slaves to a government. She said that she had asked God to help her to raise her children from under the footstools of others. I submit to you today that many black people are wanting to be under the footstools of the government. You want the government to take care of you. You want the government to give you welfare. You want the government to give you food stamps. You want the government to change laws for you. You want to live any kind of way that you want to live. And it's not just black people. That's why I said all of these people. And you're young and healthy enough. But the problem is that most people are ignorant. Not only ignorant, lack of information, but your lack of information on purpose. You see all these books behind me, they're real. I have so many books. I have great libraries. Now, I am in my 80s, going towards my 90s, all right? I have PhDs. I did not get them from any program. Welfare did not help me. Have you ever been on welfare, Dr. Baker? Yes, I did. I did that, and I worked so that it would pay for my child care. Once I got that done, I was off. I did not use affirmative action. Why didn't I use affirmative action? Because nobody has to affirm my intelligence. Nobody has that right. I did not come under that. I figured that if God gave me a brain, then I would use that brain to the best of my abilities. Talk about slavery in the United States of America. I just recently saw where many people were bowing to the King of England. And then you walk around and say, no kings, no kings, no kings. Well, if it's no kings, it's no kings. There has not been any nation that has enslaved more people than in the UK. Britain, Britannica, all of that, they have enslaved. Why don't we talk about the slavery that happened, that the Spaniards did? Why don't we talk about the slavery that all of these other nations did? No, you know why we attacked the United States of America? Is because the United States of America wants you to be free. It recognizes your sovereignty as a person. Even in the Declaration, even in our founding papers, it says one nation under God. It does not say one nation under a king. It does not say one nation under a Congress. It does not say one nation under a Senate. It says one nation under God. I realized something at a very young age, that God had given me the rights. Even when people did not like me, even when people were telling me I couldn't live here, I couldn't drink here, I couldn't do this here, and all of these different things, it did not matter. I'm saying, if you don't want me there, I don't want to be there. Because I knew that I was worth something. My father had let me know that. I submit to you today that most people do not want you. Even the black representatives, even other black people, do not want you to rise above where you are. Here, I did a video on the different men that fought in the wars, even when they were not free, because they knew that they would be free. They knew that they would be free. And they say, I'm going to fight for something, because as I fight for this, I'm not fighting for myself, but I'm fighting for generations to come. I let you know this, is that most people are so selfish. I hear people telling lies. You know, the problem is, the Bible says people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Why is that? Because they reject knowledge. I will listen to the left, the right, and the center. And then what I will do is that I will find out what is true. I do not go to ChatGPT. I do not go to Google. I actually look in books. They still have a few libraries left that actually have some books. Another thing that's happening in our nations is that people are rewriting. They're rewriting history in order to make you a victim. I heard this lady AOC said the other day, she says, this is scary and powerful all at the same time. She says many people want to be president, they want to be a governor, they want to be all of these things, but she says that is too small thinking. She says, what I want to do is I want to change this nation. And then she went on to say that she was a Marxist, a socialist, communist. So what she wants to change this nation to is what is going on in New York, what is going on in Seattle. She wants to change it to the fact that all wealthy people, all rich people, that they are bad. She made a statement. And that statement was, you cannot become a billionaire. You can't become a billionaire honestly. Well, Oprah is a billionaire. Did she become that honestly? Then you better go get her money. What about Tyler Perry? What about all of these people? There's so many that have billions of dollars. What that means is that they own a lot of property. It doesn't mean that they got billions of dollars sitting in their bank account. If you don't learn to think, you're going to be swooped up into a life that you don't really want. You know, I was reading Mao's America, and as I read that, I'm looking and I'm saying, they're taking this from a workbook in which that happened. It's showing you how to pit. This is what they did with slavery. Willie Lynch did this. He pitted the blacks against the whites. He pitted the house person against the field. He pitted the dark skin against the light skin. Fathers against sons against mothers and fathers, and all of these things. He came in and did this. And you say, are you a Republican or are you a Democrat? I'm none of those things. I am a kingdom of God citizen. And I will vote accordingly. Do you know why there's so many black people having abortions? Because they want you not to have any power. Margaret Sanger said in the very beginning that you should not have children. And so what do? We go as a lamb to the slaughter, and people killing their children. It's time for you to think. As an octogenarian, the Bible told me, older people, train and teach the younger people. And when you start to think not in your emotions, But you start to think out of your brain, out of your mind, not out of your emotions. Well, this is fair and this is not fair. Life is never going to be fair. In your house, it ain't fair. Things that happen with your children is not fair. What is fair? Fair is operating the way that you want it to. I've had many people that say, Dr. Baker, you're not very nice. And I say, thank you for the compliment. I don't ever intend to be nice. I'm kind, which means I'm very direct. And even if I say something or I read something in the Bible or I study out something where I'm wrong, even though I don't like it, I change. Why is that? Number one, it's what God has told me to do. I have gone through unimaginable pressure. I have been rejected by black people, by white people. I have mulatto grandchildren. They have been rejected. My brother was light-skinned. He was rejected by darker black people and by other people too. There is going to be unfair treatment no matter what, but do not get caught and allow yourself to be a victim of your own choosing. I'm gonna share this. This is interesting. I was watching something on Watch Mani. He was a missionary in China, and one of the things of it was he was put into prison. But he said the same thing that the woman, that the bust that I have in my house says. You can chain up my body. You can do all of those things. You can segregate me. You can do all that. But as long as I have this, you cannot chain my mind. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved unto God. Why? A workman that need not be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. When you rightly divide the word of truth, it's going to work in your behalf. It's going to work to your favor. I have a coach, and when he was coming up in Florida, he says that there was segregated hospitals, and the hospital that he went to was a very poor hospital. It didn't have what needed to happen, and he got polio. But today, he says, if God asked me if I wanted to do a redo without polio, I would tell him no. Why is that? He's a very wealthy man, a very brilliant man, born again person, all of that. He says, because I never was able to run, I was never able to do this, but what I did do is I learned to think. I learned to see things. My brain runs faster, and I was able to utilize that. Every difficulty, you look at the missionaries, you look at people that have gone through difficult things, and they've come out and been able to help other people. What we're doing to children, what you guys are doing to children in these days is horrible. You don't want them to go through anything. You have it so that even if they get a D, they get a certificate. What kind of madness is that? What I'm saying to you is this, and I'm a living octogenarian. I'm a living person that went through this stuff. I see young people talking all of this stuff, and they have not gone through anything. And many of the things that they're saying are lies. They're lying on their parents. They're lying on their grandparents. They're lying on that. Now, my mother was a bigot. My mother was a bigot. Oh my God, she was black. Yes, she was. But she was only that to a certain degree. Oh, when she wanted something done, she would go to the white man. When she wanted this, she would go to the black man to get this done. And people have always done that. I call it, she would talk about this. She would use people for the purpose that she wanted to use them for. They were okay when they were doing this, but they weren't okay with that. And this is what it is that we're doing today. I want you to check your life. I want you to start to study. I want you to look at true history, not the history that you get from Chat GPT or Google, but I want you to go back in old history books. And if you can't find them, there are stores. You can go online and you can find places that sell things that that are older, so that you can actually look at the history. This nation is the best nation that there has ever been, and the reason that people are going after it right now to make it. Look at all these people that have just come across the border. They're illegal, and they came over illegal. But you know what? Nobody is here to assimilate. They want to make it like their country. Is that what you want? Americans, black people, Mexican people, white people, women, men, all of that, stop falling for the Okey-Doke and learn to use what God has given you, and that is boundless brain power, the ability to think, the ability to see what's righteous and what's unrighteous. Use what you have and stop allowing other people to use you. As I said, I'm older than most of you. If you have any questions, comments, even if you want to cuss me out, whatever it is, I don't really care because it doesn't matter to me. All I know is this, is that you're falling for things that will destroy you. You're believing lies in areas and in neighborhoods. I mean, here's the last one that I'll talk about. They were talking about since the lines of voting have been changed and all that you're taking someone's voting rights. Now, actually, it freed you to be able to vote for a whole lot more people. If you want your area changed, if you want something different to happen, you are now free to fly, to look at other people, to actually look and read the ballots, to actually look and read what's going on with people, and not just read what they put on there, but if you can read, and they're raising kids now until they really can't even read, but if you can read, you will be able to look at their history and find out the truth about the matter. I want you to realize God has given you freedom. Man can't give you freedom. Not the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party, not the Independent Party, not the Green Party, not any of them. They can't give you anything that God has already given you. Every man, woman, boy, and girl that was ever born was born with the ability to be free. You enslave yourself. You choose. I talked about Frederick Douglass. He was in slavery. He was born in slavery, but that man was never a slave. From the time that when he found out that they did not want him to learn to read, he decided he was going to read. Is that slavery? No, he was free in his mind. Mr. Mandela was free in his mind. Now it's your turn to choose. Will you be free in your mind so that he that the Son set free is free in their actions? Because if you get free in your mind, then your actions will follow. Please join us for the Use Your Boundless Brain Power Challenge. And I'll go over and answer any questions for you in the VIP. I give this to you. I pray for you right now that you will stop being used by those who already hate you. All of these people that are making all of this money, talking all of this stuff. Look at where they live and then look at where you live. Big difference.